10 years ago, we lived through some of the most intense paranormal activity imaginable. That led us to research haunted locations, supernatural beings. What's on the wall over there? And all different types of paranormal activity. What we discovered, the South Coast is wickedly haunted. Hi everybody, I'm Todd. It's Wickedly Haunted on New Bedford Guide. We got an awesome show for you tonight. I'm with my wife,
Marissa. Nice to see you.
And we're with our best friend,
Brandon. Hey guys, how you doing?
Okay, we're the Relatively Paranormal Research Group, and tonight we're going to get into several subjects. We have a big investigation this weekend at the Lizzie Borden murder house. We're going to be getting into those hauntings at the end of the show. We're going to start off the show tonight and get back into our investigation that we were talking about last week at an old factory in New Bedford, Massachusetts that was extremely haunted. Several spirits there, maybe even a negative entity as well. At least that's what was coming out of our spirit box, the vortex. And things were pretty crazy there. Now, Brandon wasn't with us last week. Brandon, what did you think about the warehouse?
Pretty scary, different, old. I got the vibe that definitely haunted. So,
and what do we think about the activity?
It was surprisingly active, and it followed everything he said.
Now, last week we showed off a new piece of equipment of ours, the V2 SLS camera, and we got some amazing results on the first floor there. If you watched the show last week, we even caught spirits being sucked into the box. It was really strange.
Or being sucked out.
Or being, trying to climb out of the box. We haven't quite figured that out yet. It's a new piece of equipment. But it gave us amazing results. On the second floor, we had both SLS cameras out. Our V1 was actually the all-star on the second floor. Marissa was using it most of the time, and she caught some amazing stick figures up there, which are how the spirits present on the cameras. We also figured out something, and we've had the SLS for almost a year now, that when these entities are first being mapped on the camera, they actually show up as a little green circle, which is strange, but then you can kind of see them pop out, and they kind of look funky at first. You got to kind of think of it of like an apparition in a movie, when it shows up all crunched up and it kind of expands itself, and you can hear the bones cracking and everything. And that's how it reminds me of when I see them like this. And then all of a sudden they're standing up like stick figures. But we're going to get into those videos. Now, in this first video, when we go to any location, doesn't matter where it is, we leave something out that we call an abandonment camera. Okay? It's like a static camera that we go to the farthest part of the location from where we are, the biggest hot spot away from where we are, so that it doesn't pick up too much of us, hopefully. And we just leave it sitting there, usually with a couple experiments, motion detectors, maybe the REM pod, the vibration detector, whatever. We leave a bunch of stuff there. And we just want to see what happens when we're not around. And we do it both ways. We put it up there before we investigate when we're going to the other side. And then we put it in the exact spot where we just investigated when we move to the other spot. And we may do it 3 times. But the goal is to see what happens before we go up there to investigate, what happens after we fire up the location and communicate, and then leave. Okay. Well, it's our theory that some of these ghosts in these spots are relegated to like one floor. Like maybe they don't get along. Like we haven't really asked too much about this with the spirits because we've just started getting into this, but we've noticed that at these locations, the ghosts don't seem to migrate too much. They definitely all say, the ones we've asked, that they can't leave the location for a reason. They won't go past the front door. Like our resident spirit here, Angie, we asked her, why can't you leave the building? And she said she's afraid to go out the front door. It's the unknown. They don't know what's going to happen.
That makes sense.
It's like a comfort zone here.
Yeah. Right. But in this warehouse, it seemed like they were relegated to one floor or the other. In the intro of last week's investigation, you saw how our meters, the static meter and the EMF detector, were going nuts on the tour. And then as soon as I got halfway up the staircase, boom, they both died and stopped. So it just reinforces that. So what I'm showing in this first clip is our abandonment camera that we left on the second floor while we're on the first floor investigating. You may hear us in the background here or there, but it's mainly a visual thing. Then you're going to see our abandonment camera on the first floor right after we left and went upstairs. And it was no visual things, it was more audible, but it was really strange, the, what am I looking for? The evidence that we captured there. So let's roll that first clip, and it's our abandonment cameras, and I think you're going to enjoy this. What you're seeing here is a second floor static camera that I had left upstairs with some experiments, motion detectors, REM pods, and whatnot. Although none of the devices went off while we investigated the first floor, as you can see, there was a ton of spirit energy orb activity, the likes of which we had never seen before. You can see that they are flashing, they are rocketing across the screen, appearing and disappearing on camera. What's incredible is that while on the first floor where we were, where any dust that should have been would be kicked up, no orbs were seen at all, either during our investigation down there or during us leaving our static camera when we came up here to the second floor to investigate. This camera is also on the opposite side of the building than where we are investigating. Just to let you know, dust on an IR camera looks like snow, normally floating around the screen in a large group of dust particles. It is a solid object. Could one or two of these be particles of dust? Sure, but certainly not the self-lit, perfectly circular, flashing objects that are appearing and disappearing on screen, shooting out of the floor and ceiling, and rocketing by, as I mentioned before, at high speeds. Dust just doesn't do that. Coming up next is the footage from our static abandonment camera on the first floor, where a whole different type of manifestation showed itself when we switched places and came up to this area to investigate, leaving the first floor devoid of any people. With the investigation moving up to the second floor, I created an experiment on the first floor just as I had on the second floor during the start of the investigation. I moved all the motion detectors, all three of them, the two audible and the one visual that lights up, the REM pod, and a static detector down to the first floor, all sitting around a small table. I told the entities if they wanted to get our attention to have us come back to communicate down there, to make the devices go off and make some noises.
Todd, seriously.
Oops.
I just put that one up.
All right. So
Wow.
I know it's a hot debate in the paranormal community about orbs. I get it. Okay. Dust does show up on IR cameras, but dust is not self-lit. It does not flash as it's going across the screen. It does not move intelligently a foot off the ground, make 90-degree turns, and shoot at the camera. It doesn't do any of those things. Okay. Can dust appear? Sure, but we weren't up there. We were not up there. And then here's the funny thing. You can see that over time there was less and less orbs. As you'll watch, pay attention to the next clips I'm going to show you, because there's one orb the whole next 2 hours when we're up there. And when human beings are up there, you would think walking around, that's when the dust would be kicked up. But you don't see any of that. Nothing shows up. The warehouse was used to store food. I'm sure it's inspected all the time for the health department. It was spotless. There was no dust there. None.
That floor was like
Nice.
shining. Yeah.
And if you
Very neat.
Yeah, and if you watch the clips from last week, there's no dust in any of those clips. There was a couple orbs, but hardly any at all. Those orbs were ripping across the screen, and that was right after I left. I called out. I said, hey, if you guys want to get our attention, here's these devices over here. I kind of explained what they were. And I said, make some noises, make them go off, whatever. I did the same thing on the first floor. And it was funny how on the first floor, we had just left. So if there was going to be dust, we just walked out the door. It'd be all over the place. You saw no orbs on the first floor, none. So those are spirit energy orbs. There was a lot of spirits there. There was at least 3, okay, plus something negative. So that's 4 entities at least in that building that we counted, that we got the names for while we were there. So to me, that is impressive footage. Now, as far as the first floor, that is not us on the second floor banging around. We are on the opposite side of the building. Plus, when I'm looking at the audio on those clips, it shows up in waveforms. It was tiny, tiny little waveforms across that audio, and then all of a sudden huge ones, which means those noises were right next to the camera. I have the foot, I can show it to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Those are huge spikes. Those bangs were right next to the camera. We can't even figure out what they were.
I don't know what it was. Something fell, or who knows?
I didn't hear them.
We didn't hear it upstairs.
No.
Yeah, we would have.
We heard the motion detector.
Yeah.
You'll hear us talking
Yeah.
about it in the next clip. But we didn't hear those bangs. So I don't know what. We were the only people in the building. No one came in. I had cameras all over the place. Nobody came in.
And this warehouse was enormous. So we were far, far away. Like, we were on opposite floors, but it was almost like the size of like a football field, really. It was that big, and they were separated into separate rooms, basically.
Most people have been in a warehouse before. You can hardly hear us talking where we were, and it's a completely opposite side of the building. So believe me, I was scatterbrained that night, and I forgot a couple things on that abandonment camera, and had to go back up there a couple times to turn on the mic and a couple things, and to walk up through that thing in the pitch black with a little flashlight a couple of times. It's pretty large.
And I'll tell you, when you did go back up there, I didn't see any orbs from you picking up any dust.
No,
or anything,
no.
You know?
And
Yeah, because we were following with cameras too.
And here's what's really funny is Brandon was here with me that night before we left, and we were getting ready, and before we leave for any investigation, we test every single AA battery. Believe me, we test them. Oh, there's like 100 of them. Our lights take 8 AA batteries a piece. I can't stand it when they go out during investigation. We were only there for 3 hours. That camera only lasted like 30-something minutes on the first floor, and you can see the light getting dimmer. Something was sucking the life out of that light and the camera. That camera should last 2 hours easily on its battery, brand new charged up battery, and the light, none of our other lights died.
Well, you know what was getting bright was that huge orb at the end.
That was
like,
strange.
Yeah, but they were all shooting towards that area, so I think they drained that thing.
yeah, they took all the energy.
No,
out of it.
our cameras don't die in 32 minutes, and our lights don't die all at night. We go 6 hours sometimes. That's why we put brand new batteries in them. So for me to watch that light dim as it went,
We
like,
knew it was going to be a long investigation, so we were. You said you always have everything charged. So.
yeah, those orbs happened over 30, like 5 minutes, I think it was, before the camera died. So that light died in that time frame.
Those things were like energizers. They're supposed to keep going and going.
Yeah, we use nice batteries too. When I use them, like Dollar Tree batteries, believe me. I wish we could. Believe me, they're expensive. You know, it's $50 in batteries every time we walk out the door. You know, we don't charge anyone to investigate. So that actually reminds me. If you're experiencing paranormal activity, or somebody you know is experiencing paranormal activity, and you would like Relatively Paranormal to investigate, we have a website, relativelyparanormal.com. It is a catch-all for everything Relatively Paranormal. The last page on the website, there is a booking form where you can put in your information, even basic information, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. It also has a link to our email, relativelyparanormal@gmail.com. It doesn't matter if you're being tormented and you need us to come in and help. You need us to cleanse the house. We do that for people. We're very successful at it. We use a faith base cleansing with white sage and holy water, and we've never not helped a client out before. Or you just want to know if something's there, you want validation, we can do that for you too. You do not have to appear on the show if you want to remain anonymous, or if you want the video to come on to educate people that, you know, they're not alone. You can remain anonymous too there too, or you can be out on camera and say who you are and give us a tour. It doesn't matter what you want to do. We're here to help, okay? We don't judge, we don't charge, we just help. We also have a YouTube channel that you can go through our website, or you can go right to it. It's called Relatively Paranormal, nice and easy. And it's got full investigations on there. If you like our clips on here, you can watch the whole investigation. We've got some of our best evidence, like quick clips on there. We have past episodes of Wickedly Haunted. You know, it's free of charge. The only thing we ask is just please subscribe while you're there. Please subscribe to our channel. We need subscribers. We need subscribers. And we also have a public Facebook group called Relatively Paranormal. We put investigations we're going up to, quick clips on there too. You can talk to us. You can ask questions. You can comment. And you can also privately message us through there as well. So we're here to help.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Dave. How you doing? Dave's always commenting.
Hi, Deborah.
Hey, Deborah. How you doing? So we're going to get back into Sunbeam investigation. Now, this is when we actually go up to the second floor. Now, a lot of stuff on these clips on the second floor, where the first floor was a lot of visual. The second floor was a lot of audio and communication. You can communicate with spirits 100 different ways, okay? Marissa, what are some ways we can communicate with spirits?
You can use a flashlight.
A maglite flashlight. Twist the end. Very, you can ask yes and no questions, and we use it everywhere. Why? Because if something's turning our flashlight on and off on camera in front of us, we know that there's something that ain't human, or there was a dead human at the very least, okay? And we leave them on after we turn on our spirit box, the vortex, because they can confirm their answers. If we don't hear something, listen, in the moment, it's not always easy to hear with all the excitement that's going on and everything. And sometimes these spirits talk fast. They talk over each other. You think I talk fast? Huh. They talk fast, okay? I probably don't hear, I don't know, 60% of this. I mean, right, really, we don't hear like 60% of the stuff. I have to listen to some of these things 5, 6, 7 times in slow motion and to hear exactly what they're saying. And that's why I put the subtitles in there, so you don't have to do that. Because usually when the subtitles are there, you can hear it right off the bat.
Yeah.
But with the vortex, the communication is direct communication. I've never seen it on any other ghost show. I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back, okay? We developed it over a couple of years. We asked the spirits what worked, believe it or not, what they wanted to use to communicate. I can't get into what's in the box, but it's all legitimate. There's nothing hokey about it. It's just ideas that I came up with through 10 years of research and talking to spirits and reading books and doing crazy stuff. And we're on the 5th generation of the box, so it was trial and error. But you really need to listen to what's being said. It's incredible. Normally when you watch a ghost show, please go watch an episode of Ghost Adventures after this. Go watch Kindred Spirits. Go watch Portals to Hell. And tell me how many spirits you hear talking on those shows. You might get a word or two out of a spirit box, out of a geoport, out of a voice recorder. You know, they use a DR60 Panasonic $1,200 voice recorder that you get a scratchy word out of that I may or may not hear. Okay, this is direct communication. This is something people have been trying to do for thousands of years, and somehow we've figured it out. I don't know exactly how, but
Hi, Mom.
we've done it, and I want you folks to really enjoy it. So please go watch another ghost show after this, and then go to our YouTube channel. I really appreciate, you know, what we're all able to enjoy here, because I get excited about it. Even the flashlights, I get excited about it. So let's roll the next clip and check out that communication and let us know what you think. Comment. Is there anyone up here that wants to communicate? Boys? How come you can't use those flashlights? They're dead again. Are they dead again?
the end of these to turn them off and on. Now we
This is really bizarre. During the investigation on the first floor, the spirits were telling us that the figure we saw trying to escape the Vortex spirit box was named Nate, and that the other spirit we saw in the Vortex spirit box through our V2 SLS camera was a demon who was taking Nate somewhere into the box, into some sort of portal where he was killing him. Now, we have no idea how a demon could kill a ghost. I'm not really sure, but I'm trying to develop theories on that. But that's where we're at right now. That's the boy they're talking about, and they want me to help him, but I'm just not sure where he was taken and how it is that I could help him. But I'm working on it, and hopefully we'll have answers to this mystery soon.
is Madison up here? Oh, that one went on. You shut that off? Oh yeah, look, they're going off and on. Right here, shut that off.
Shut that. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. That's me.
Can you show yourself right over here, please? Yes, you're over here. Can you show yourself right here?
Is Nick up here?
Wow, over the years, I've been threatened a lot of times by a lot of different entities, demons, negative human spirits, but never has Satan himself come out of the woodworks to threaten me. This also goes to show you how difficult it is to hear things in the moment. It took me literally 10 times listening to that to decipher everything it was saying. Had I heard it in the moment, I might have been a little bit horrified. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's Satan himself saying he wants to kill me. He's disgusted by me. You know, all we can hear is bits and pieces sometimes. But once I get at home and I'm sitting here by myself most of the time wearing headphones and I hear some of this stuff, I'm not going to lie, it can be pretty horrifying. But at the same time, I hear so many things in the video after that it gives me a lot of clues as to what's really going on in the spirit world.
Is there a spirit downstairs that's mad at took away the energy? Who's over here? I'm up against for something.
Move the shopping cart. Move the shopping cart.
Who's over here? The flashlight going on? Alright, so what are the names of all the spirits? Ghosts, yeah. What are the names of all the spirits in this building? Nick, David, and Madison? Is that correct? Nick, David, and Madison? me to bring the light? Do you want to move on to the next level? Do you feel hopeless and miserable? Is death miserable? Why is death miserable?
Death is miserable.
Yeah, I asked it though. I said is death miserable?
And it said death is miserable.
Angie said that once. Why is it miserable? Yeah?
This one takes a
You always think that you wish things turned out differently? Yes? That's sad. Do you feel hopeless?
only I do.
Do you wish you had gone to the light? What? Yes? You regret not going to the light? That's sad. Why did you stay here? You hear that? Did you hear that? I said, why did you stay here? I said, because Am I not going to the light? Yes.
I'm like being said it again.
Fool. Foolish. Wow, they're clear tonight. These voices are clear, huh?
Full sentences.
Crazy. But why? But I understand you think it was foolish to stay, but why did you stay? Did you stay because you were hoping you weren't dead?
Whoa, so as you can see there, we got some crazy communication, even from Lucifer himself. I'm not trying to make light of it. I don't believe Satan was there. There was a demonic entity, I believe, at that location, but they're tricksters, they're liars. When they're there, we cannot tell who is telling us what and who is not, because they will pretend to be the spirits. And it's also a theory that they bully the other spirits. They make them say and do things that they might not necessarily want to do. Every once in a while, the spirits will break through, like the demons kind of hold them back from talking to us legitimately. They'll break through and they'll ask for help. They'll ask for us to get rid of the demon. But usually you'll hear the demon cut right back in. There's a real deep, like manly, mechanical, almost not human type voices. And they'll say something real nasty. You
One
know,
of the spirits says, well, the demon's coming, he's coming back, he's coming back. We've heard that often though. Like the spirits will let us know when the demon comes back, they're not allowed to talk. They won't talk to us.
yeah, like I said, occasionally they'll break through. I don't know if the demon goes on a coffee break or what he does, but every once in a while they'll come back and it gets crazy. Hi, Auntie Pam. but you know, it can get a little freaky. I'll be honest with you. When I was sitting here, I had the headphones on. It was like 2 a.m, and well, it was a factory we were at, but they want to remain anonymous. It's in New Bedford's North End, though. It's one of the old factories, but they use it to store like food items now. So, but I was sitting here at like 3 a.m. with the headphones on when the part about Satan wanting to kill me came through. And it's one thing to hear like a demon yell at me. It's another thing to hear that like Satan himself. I mean, I don't know, maybe he did come through, but I'm assuming he would have thrown me across the warehouse. I was provoking, and I started mentioning like religious things, and they usually don't like that too much. But no, it got a little crazy up there. But we try to get answers to questions that we have directly from the spirits. Whether or not we're getting the real answers or not when there's a demon there is up for debate. But I do think we got some answers there, as you're about to see in the next clip. A spirit actually apologizes for lying to us, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was weird.
And you can hear that we try to always ask, like, did you see the light? Do you regret not going to the light? We've heard from a lot of spirits that being stuck on earth in this like purgatory type existence is miserable. So that's why I was asking that. I wasn't trying to be cruel. I was trying to find out, you know, is it a hopeless situation? Is it miserable? Because unless somebody dies right next to them and the light comes down, or somebody who actually has real psychic medium powers, like the 1 in a billion, that can send them and bring the light down, they have no chance of anything.
They're stuck there.
And they kind of, I don't know if anybody saw the last season of Haunting on Hill House on Netflix, but the spirits there over time lost their faces and their existence and forgot who they are. Well, I read a book recently with Marissa called Clearings, and that's kind of what happens. There's a white light that they can transcend to, where they rest, heal, and move on their spiritual existence. Or they can get stuck here in purgatory. If they're real evil, they can go directly into a dark light. But over time, if they're stuck here, supposedly they go into this darker light.
Going downward.
Yeah, and transgress to the point where they become unrecognizable as a human spirit.
They forget their names. That's why these demons then come up with like these new names or whatever.
Well, eventually they become a demonic entity if they transgress into the dark energy long enough, and they supposedly get renamed. You know, like in the book it said, like whoever heard about a ghost, a demon named Steve or something like that. But you know, I actually made a phone call to the people who run the armory for the state, and they never got back to me.
Yeah, we've been trying. Everybody wants us to go there.
If anybody knows someone that can get us into the armory,
please get us in.
Or any other haunted location, we want to go everywhere local that we can.
But we want to do the armory. We want to get in there. We don't want to break in though.
Which is
We're not criminals.
Yeah, you know, that's the other thing. If there's a haunted location that you would like to see, relatively paranormal, investigate, that we can legally go to, I'll call the police and ask for permission or whatever, a graveyard or any place freaky that you know of legend-wise or have been there yourself, let us know and we'll go there.
If anybody knows anything about the Lakeville Hospital,
who owns it? The sanitarium?
I need to know who to speak to because that's definitely.
A few people at my job were telling me.
It's still standing, yes.
Clients were telling me.
If you know who owns it or can get us in there, by all means. You know, we're not about breaking into places, but
well, if there's no security guard.
Yeah, no. It's one place I'd actually might consider it, but I don't want to get caught.
No.
We have too much equipment
Small town.
without being able to
Small
set.
town.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, I hope you are appreciating the spirit communication because it was nuts, and it gets even better on this time. Sorry that the ghosts swear. It's really out of my control. But what they were swearing about is why I put it up there. Okay, was that the part about the sage? No, that was about them staying and stuck here. Yeah. So the ghost said they got stuck here because they effed up. They made a mistake. I messed up.
That's crazy.
And that's what they all say. Every single one of them. I've yet to have a ghost come through and say, "I'm thrilled to be here, stuck on Earth. I'm psyched. I'm having a blast. It's a party." I've never heard anything but "I'm miserable. Please help me. I'm stuck here." And the unfortunate thing is, we don't live at these places. We don't have instant access anytime, so it's hard for us to help the spirits. So we try to help the living as much as possible. We're learning how to help the dead But again, we have to get back in there multiple times. It's not something that can happen overnight.
Mhm.
So we mainly try to focus on helping the living being tormented by negative entities, as Marissa and I once were. Okay. The first haunted house we lived in was freaky. This house that we live in now is active, but it's not a nasty type of activity.
Mhm.
I'm not seeing shadow figures walk through my living room. I'm not seeing red eyes. I'm not having my clothes rack snapped in half, my coat rack thrown off the wall, my phone thrown across the room.
Like get touched in your room, though. Like I did.
Granny
I
got
don't like
touched
going in this room.
That's correct. The ghost touched him here.
Thought it was his cat.
Yeah, well, one of the ghosts here is a younger woman. I think she's taking a shine to Brandon.
I definitely think so.
Somebody gave me a little
Did she
elbow
say she
in
had a
that.
crush on him? I think we asked one time.
She knows my cousin too. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's a different type of activity.
Mhm.
The other spirit used to pound on our walls, walk. It was whisper in our ears constantly. We're watching TV. It was freaky.
Mhm.
And the worst part of all, sleep paralysis is real. Listen, I don't care what anyone says. It has nothing to do with me, my mind waking up before my body, because I've never had it before. I lived in that house, and I've never had it since. But at that home, I was held down 3 or 4 times a week. I would see a nasty entity standing in the room. He looked like a villain out of a Sherlock Holmes movie with a top hat and a cape, okay? He was tall and skinny, and he used to just stand there, and I'd be paralyzed, and it was the scariest thing in my entire life, and it was real, and it wasn't me, my brain waking up before my body.
Well,
Okay?
it's crazy that girl said the same thing before you said it to her. That house.
Oh,
we went
sleep
to,
paralysis? Yeah.
She was, and then you said I had the same exact thing.
I've had
happen.
relatives that had it happen to him too. We
Mhm.
call him the Hat Man. He's known in our family. He's a nasty SOB. I don't
Stands
know
at the
why.
end of your bed.
I don't know
That's
why he
scary.
appeared there. I don't. But anyway, different locations have different type of hauntings. Unfortunately, recently we've run into negative hauntings. We deal with what we deal with. We go with the flow and we try to get answers. And right now, we want to find out what is happening to these spirits, because these spirits are saying these demons are killing them. We saw one being sucked into a box. We saw the spirit trying to escape the box. And now they're saying that the kid got killed. He's dead. I don't know what that
does
means.
that mean?
How is
Yeah.
a dead person dead?
Die again.
What are these demons doing? It's,
Taking their souls.
well, it's saying they're using the portal that the spirit box is creating and taking them into the portal and killing them. I don't know what that means. They're threatening them with this murder or death or whatever it is. And I don't know if that means they're taking their souls to hell. I think I actually asked that in the next clip, but anyway, let's roll the next clip. We do get some answers here about what's going on there. And just for one last note, I hate bullies, can't stand them. So I'm not trying to offend any of the spirits, but I do stand up to the negative entities. I do, okay? I do protect myself. I wear a blessed cross everywhere I go. We carry holy water, sage, and everything. But I do stand up to the bullies because I don't like what they do to the humans. And I sure as heck don't like what they're doing to the spirits either.
These spirits are scared.
They
They're
are scared. You can hear the fear in their voice. I don't like it.
And they ask for help constantly. They're
Mhm.
scared, and it's sad. It's sad to hear. So
And the clients we've had over the years have been tormented. So
Yeah.
I stand up to them. I don't like it. Okay, if you show them fear, that's when they'll jump on you. Okay, you got to stand up to them. But let's roll the next clip.
Help us. Please. Okay, how can I help you? Is there a negative entity bullying you? Is there a bully here? Turn on the light if there's a spirit or an entity bullying you. Then turn on the light. There's a demon here bullying you? You hear that? Yes. What was that bang? Oh. How does it? Let me ask you a question. Now stop. How does he bully you? What does he do to you? What does the negative entity do to you? Bullies, I know. Well, how does a ghost bully another ghost? Does it threaten to drag you to hell with it? So Todd, please make these noise. Wait, you want me to bless the building? You want me to sage it? Did it say yes?
It said yes.
It said yes. Wow. It said yes? How long I hit?
Okay, so after hearing Tails' all investigation through the Vortex Spirit Box about spirits being bullied by demons and demons taking the other spirits somewhere and killing them, I was trying to get answers as to the dynamics of all of this, how this could happen, what exactly is happening, and really the only thing I learned here is the fact that the demon had made a sanctum out of this building and was terrorizing the other spirits. From what I can tell by the fact that you can clearly hear the demon's voice, and then you can clearly hear the spirits saying things the demon is telling them to say, that this is absolutely the case. The demon is threatening these spirits and making them do his bidding, for lack of a better way to put it. Every once in a while, the spirits will break through and beg for help and beg me to save them, but at the end of the day, what could I really do to help them at this point? By saging the building, it would actually hurt the spirits as well as the demons, which is why I got such a strong, profanity-filled response.
Nick, are you still here?
Can you show yourself in front of me? What you did? If you show yourself in front of me, then I'll leave soon. Manifest right in front of the box. You did? I didn't see you. Manifest on the top of the box right now, or in it. Please. Why don't you just do the Indian fusion there? Look at the Indian. The woods? Enough what? You want my money?
We have suspected for a long time that demons bully other spirits out of location and force them to do and say things that they might not necessarily want to be doing or might not be in their nature, but through threats and intimidation are forced to do these things and used as minions by the demon. In this SLS clip, you can see I have marked with arrows a pole where nobody is standing, but yet you see the SLS mapping out a stick figure. We are trying to use an app called Ghost TV, where ghosts and spirits and entities can use the static in what looks like an old TV to form pictures of themselves. We've had a lot of success with this in the past. Unfortunately, nothing showed up in the static at this location.
You can do it. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Show your face.
Nick, you still there?
Yeah, I see,
Here.
yeah.
You are? Okay, cool. Here, try taking a photo with me. Ready? I have it right here.
So as you can hear right there, not only did a spirit lie to us on the command of a demon, but then she apologized to us and got caught doing it because she says, I regret saying that I was Nick. She lied and said she was the boy that the demon took somewhere. And then she says, oh, the demon just told me that I wasn't supposed to say that I was not Nick. That's insane. That is insane. That blew my mind when I saw it. And even though she went on a couple of times about regretting it, I left it in there because that's insane. Have you ever heard such a thing on a ghost show before?
No.
Have you ever even like heard
I
a
watch a
concept
lot
like that
too,
discussed
no.
on a ghost show before?
No.
It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing.
Mhm.
Like what these demons are doing to these spirits is absolutely crazy. But the spirit didn't even understand how Nick got killed. Okay, I don't know whether the demon's saying I'm going to kill you and then taking them into this portal and not doing. I don't know what they're doing. If they're taking their souls, what's going on? But the girl even says he's dead somehow. She doesn't know how he got killed. But they're being threatened. They're being bullied. They're being told what to say, what to do, and the girl actually apologized, felt bad about it, and then got caught right away by the demon, who must have come back and said, "I told you not to say that you were not Nick."
So I just wanted to answer Jody. Honestly, I think we have to go back there, and I think we have to clear it. I think we have to bring some sage and.
It's hard to do that though because the sage. We've asked the ghosts before because we clear houses. They don't. It hurt the sage. Hurts them too.
It'll
somehow.
hurt the it'll hurt the human spirit.
So it's
as
hard.
well.
I can clear a building of everything. Okay, but that's like evicting the ghosts as well. So I'd be putting their butts out on the street basically,
Right.
which some people don't want entities in their
Thanks,
house.
Jody.
Okay, I will tell you one thing from personal experience, and Marissa will expand on this in a second. Okay, whether they mean to or not, whether they're good people, bad people, whatever, they will drain your energy if they're in your house.
Mm.
Okay, if they find a connection with you, okay, they will drain your energy. Okay, and they will impress the misery and depression of being stuck here upon you. So even though you may have a ghost in your house, that it's an old lady who died here, it's whatever. And it may be a benign spirit who doesn't hurt you, who doesn't even bother you. But if they're there, it's not good. It's not good. It's bad for your mental and physical well-being. You know, they can, if they had an illness, they can cast that on you kind of. It seems crazy, but it's true. We've lived it. We live it now. I have to sage this house constantly because they like coming here. Okay. The woman who died here had 2 kids. She feels a kinship with Marissa as a mother. And when they have that connection, they will drain the heck out of you.
I enjoy talking to her when we investigate, but we had to stop investigating here.
We make it clear basically that when the door's shut, the door's shut. When it's open to talk. And sometimes, usually they leave at that point, but they'll come back. They'll come back.
Yeah.
You know, and we have to clear the house. So, you know, it's all right here because this woman can go back to. She didn't die in our apartment. She can go back to where she died from on a different
She
floor.
can go into a different. Right.
Of course, I'm not throwing her out on the street, but in some spots, I would be casting them out on the street with the sage and the holy water, and I seal them out with the holy water on all the windows and doors. And it works great for people. You know, listen, we're alive. We're alive. You know, we didn't make the choice to stay here and not go in the light. I feel bad for them to making that choice. Sometimes they're confused at death, which we're going to get into a second with the Boyden murder. You know, and they didn't mean to get stuck. He looked at the girl, said, I messed up. She said, I effed up, like with authority. I effed up.
I want to like almost tell the world, like, listen, if you're close to death, if you just think about it, because everybody's going to die one day. But when you do, you go into that goddamn light. Just go into the light. That's all I can say. Because after talking to these spirits, I do not ever want to be in that position.
Stuck somewhere.
Stuck someplace and miserable for the rest of
No,
eternity. I mean,
We've been doing this, what, like 5 years. We've probably asked at least 100 spirits the same question.
And they
What happened when you
all give us
died?
the same answer.
They all said, I stood outside my body. I saw my body. I saw the light. Well, most of them, some of the bad ones didn't get a light. Okay. If you're evil, you're evil. I mean, you're not going to get the light, but 90% of them saw the light and stayed here for various reasons. We've got 100 different answers as to why they stayed here. Sometimes they won't even answer that.
I don't think they knew that they were going to be stuck here.
And to add upon the misery of being stuck here, every single one of them has said they relived their death. And I don't know if that's daily, weekly, anniversary wise, but they all say they relived their death.
And
You know?
they're not allowed to see family members. You're not allowed to check up on family members if you're stuck here.
No, that's only if you transcend to the light, then supposedly you're allowed to come back with a spirit guide to
Or
visit
loved
family
ones. I
members.
shouldn't just say family members, but loved ones. So, I
You
mean,
know.
if that's one of the reasons you stayed, then you're really kind of shit out of luck.
I mean, there's a theory in the paranormal world about intelligent versus residual hauntings. Okay, residual haunting is supposedly a ghost that just walks by your door every night at the same time and doesn't know you're there and can't respond to you. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it for a second. It makes no sense to me. How can you die, be stuck here, and then just be a mindless zombie who walks by a door every night? That's ridiculous. Okay, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous.
I
And-
get to see it.
No,
But-
then show me. Well, how come they can never get it on camera? If the same thing happens every time, why is it not on
It
camera?
should be easier.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
Okay, but what I do believe is when they're reliving their death, they follow the same path that they took that day and relive their death. And at that point, while they're in that ghost loop of sorts, they will not respond to you because it's like a replay in their own mind. Okay, that I do believe in, but that is not residual haunting. That is an intelligent spirit being tormented on a regular basis by reliving their death. And when they're in that ghost loop, they're not going to respond to you. Okay, so that's what that is. But everybody just watches ghost shows and then becomes a ghost hunter, somehow gets a TV show and then just pukes up the stuff that they saw on another ghost show about residual versus intelligent, because it's the same thing for every person. Well, you know, we've read books. Okay, go on our website, our library's on there. I have a lot of books on the paranormal from different theories. And then we went and asked the spirits because we have a direct communication spirit box that allows us to do so. Even with the flashlights, we asked them, yes, turn on the light. No, don't turn on the light. Did you relive your death? Did you see your body? Blah, blah, blah. That's how we started this.
Yeah. If there are any questions that anybody has that you want us to ask a spirit, because you got to be curious. Everybody's got to be curious about what happens after you die. Let us know. We'll ask. We'll try to find out for you. We're always trying to ask different questions and get more information.
Yeah, email us. Go to relatively paranormal@gmail.com. Go to the website. Like I said, you can ask questions on there. There's a chat box. If we're on there, I'll answer you live. If not, I'll get back to you as soon as we can. Marissa's got access to it too. We'll get right back to you. Now, the last part of our the last part of our episode, we're just going to do a quick preview of next week's episode, which is going to be about the Borden murder house, which is where we're going this weekend. Everybody knows about Lizzie Borden. Everybody knows she killed her father. It was not with 40 whacks, though, like the old rhyme. Okay. But there are a lot of strange things about the case
Can
that
you
people
sing that
don't
rhyme
know.
for us?
I know. I don't think I know it, though.
What?
I don't
Lizzie
know.
Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done,
Oh, yeah.
she gave her father 41.
Yeah, that's not exactly right. She did whack. But whatever. There's a lot of different theories out there as opposed to why the murders happened, how the murders happened, and who did it. Most people think it's Lizzie, but we're going to run a quick clip here, with just some strange things I found about the case and just general information. And then the three of us are going to each give you our lowdown as far as means, motive, and opportunity. And what we're going to do tomorrow, we're not just going to go there and say, are you here and who's here? We're going to try to solve the murder of the 19th century. I'm not going to lie, we're going to try to solve it.
It's an
We're going to
answer
use
for
the
you guys.
vortex, and we're going to try to find out who the killer is, what happened, and see who had the right theory. We're going to see who is right. Okay, I think we can get it done.
I think we should
get
put
it
some
done.
money down on the table.
I'm excited to see the vortex.
I know. I'm excited to hear the vortex too. So let's run the quick clip, and then we'll give you a quick breakdown of it. And then next week, we'll let you know who's done when we show you the video. On the morning of August 4th, 1892, on a boiling hot day in Fall River, Massachusetts, 2 atrocious murders were committed in the Borden household. Abby Borden, wife of Andrew Borden, was hatcheted to death in the upstairs bedroom. She faced her killer, was hit on the side of the head, fell to the bedroom floor, and then was struck in the back of the head with the hatchet. She was hit a total of 19 times. Then, about an hour and a half later, Andrew Borden comes home from a walk, lies down to take a nap on the couch, and is hit with that same hatchet a total of 10 to 11 times. It was primarily thought that he was sleeping during this attack. The main suspect in the case was Andrew Borden's own daughter, Lizzie Borden. She was even brought to trial for the murders and ended up being acquitted. There are many strange facts to this case, almost too many to list. But the few that really stand out are the fact that in May of that year, Andrew Borden went on a tirade, went out to the barn, and took a hatchet and killed all of Lizzie Borden's prized pigeons. She had recently built a pigeon coop for them. They were her pets. She loved them, and she took them apart with a hatchet. Kind of funny that 2 months later, he gets taken apart, probably with that same hatchet. The other facts to the case are that a couple weeks before the hatchet murders, everyone in the Borden household came down sick with what was thought to be food poisoning. It was, however, suspected that someone may have used real poison in a murder attempt. That was never proven, and the bodies, upon autopsies, were checked for poisoning, where no poison was actually found. The police kind of bungled this case from the start in a lot of different ways. They never searched Lizzie's bedroom. They never searched Lizzie for blood. They did find a hatchet in the basement with a broken axe handle. I think that the axe handle probably broke on Andrew Borden's head and then was thrown down there. The axe handle was found, dirtied up, but it looked like a staged thing, as other hatchets and axes were also found down there, covered with dust and dirt, and that one looked different. However, the police did not confiscate this as evidence. Lizzie did a number of strange things in the following days as well, including burning a dress on the kitchen stove that she said had paint on it, of all things. She was also seen the night of the murders going down into the basement and using the sink down there. Nobody really knows why. She gave several different accounts as to her whereabouts and actions on the days of the murder, and contradicted herself many times on the stand during the murder trial, where she was actually acquitted. Primarily probably due to the fact that in 1892, it was unthinkable that a woman would kill somebody in such a way. If there was ever a ready-made location for a haunting, it is this. Andrew Borden killed in his sleep. His spirit then standing outside of his body as he watches his own killer hatchet it again and again. 2, Abby Borden killed upstairs in the bedroom. Both killings were rage killings with tons of overkill. Whatever was going on in that house caused somebody to lose their mind. This wasn't a local resident. Andrew Borden was very unpopular, coming in and killing him for a bad financial deal or something like that. This wasn't a paid hit where somebody's coming in to kill someone for money and getting the hell out of there. This is somebody with a grudge who went off that day. That type of energy, that type of rage, that type of evilness stains a location and stays there. It can also open up portals. Either way, a lot of bad, evil things happened on that day in 1892. And the weather wasn't the only thing boiling, as the temper and rage of whoever this killer was certainly overflowed all over that house. We'll be heading there tomorrow to find out who haunts there, why they're still there, and maybe, just maybe, with our Vortex Spirit Box, who the killer is after all these years. We will now go over our theories to the case, who we think the killer was, and how they did it, their means, motive, and opportunity. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that I think Lizzie Borden was the murderer. I know most people do. But there are a lot of weird things that she did in that day and the days following. Now, It's a little known fact that Lizzie and her sister were very upset with the father because he was giving away real estate to his wife's family for like no apparent reason. He was an elderly guy, as you can see from his picture. He was worth like $350,000. It was the equivalent of like $9 million today.
He used to make caskets, right?
Yeah, so he owned a furniture store that
Ironic
also
enough.
made furniture and caskets, which is strange. He was the president of a bank. He was the president of a credit union, and he was like a real estate mogul. So he had tons of dough back then, and they're watching him hand away his fortune, as he's aging, and they got very upset about it. They actually made him sell them a rental property he owned for $1. And they sold it back to him for $5,000, which is like the equivalent of like 150 grand today. And the week before the murder, Lizzie and her sister went to New Bedford for a vacation. When they came back, Lizzie,
Vacation.
well, back then New Bedford was the wealthiest city in the world from the whaling. It's a true story. So when she came back, though, she stayed in a rooming house. She didn't even stay at the house until a couple days before the murder. So what was she doing then? She went down to the local pharmacist and was inquiring about poison before the family came down with a strange sickness. I think most women killed with poison in that time frame. So I think that was her first attempt. But then homie kills her prize pigeons, her pets. Now everybody has pets they love. Lizzie loved pigeons. She built a bank coop for them in the barn. She went out there every day. That's all she was about was those pigeons. He took a hatchet and killed all of them, probably in front of her, I would have to guess. Or even if she found them dead, that would be traumatic. Everybody, think of your pet and then think of somebody taking a hatchet to that pet for whatever reason. Okay?
Didn't the neighbors see something? Somebody? I mean, I don't
When?
understand. Wouldn't the maid have seen?
During the murder?
No, the pigeons.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't
She
matter. It's
found out
1892.
somehow.
The guy who hatched the pigeons. Nobody's going to say
Like,
anything to
what
him.
would be the reason for that?
Well, this is all right. So this is why I think the murder happened. Okay, he hatchets the pigeons, then they get hatcheted, the wife and the father. Okay, now why the overkill on the stepmother? Now I heard the stepmother didn't get along with Lizzie, but that's still a lot of rage. 19 whacks. Okay, 1 or 2 whacks with a hatchet upside the head, you're dead. You're dead. You're standing outside your body watching the person take another 17 swings at you. Okay, you saw the skull. It's horrific. Okay, so why the overkill on the stepmother? Okay, it was thought that Lizzie Borden may have been a lesbian in her older age, especially. She never gets married. That was like the word on the street in the town. Supposedly, there was a story that Abby Borden, the stepmother, caught Lizzie having a tryst with the maid, Bridget Sullivan. Okay, Bridget Sullivan also protected Lizzie Borden and lied on the stand during the trial. On her deathbed, she said she regretted lying for Lizzie and getting her off. Okay, now, if that was the case, and the mother goes and tells the father, they were a very strict religious family, like crazy strict religious family. Okay, Lizzie Borden was a Sunday school teacher. Also, she did all sorts of charities for the church. Okay, very strict. So if that ever got out back then, people weren't as understanding as they know now. So the father would have went nuts, and he would have went out and killed the pigeons. What's the only thing she cares about? The pigeons, right? Now you took away the only thing she cares about.
She could have just fired the maid.
And God knows what was said over the maid incident if that was the case, okay? All right, so then no more than a month or 2 later, they get poisoned. And then a week after that, she leaves, comes back, and all of a sudden, the murders happen, okay? Now, the mother with the overkill, if she's the one who caught the tryst and then told on her and supposedly said nasty stuff about it, that's why she gets it 19 times, okay? And she was facing her killer when she got killed. Suppose she went up to make up the bed on the 2nd floor and got killed. Now she's making up the bed. The killer has every opportunity, if it's just an assassination or a grudge kill, whatever, to come in and hit her in the back of the head and take off. But no, the person wanted this. The killer wanted the person they were killing to see them, to know who was killing them. So she's facing the killer. She gets whacked in the side of the head, falls face down on the floor. And then the killer stands over them and bludgeons their head 19 times. I want you to think about that for a second. 19 times to the back of the head. The overkill, the rage that's going on there. Okay? You'd be exhausted by the end of it. There's nothing left of the skull. You saw the skull, nothing left of it. Then they wait an hour and a half. Okay? Andrew Borden comes home, takes a nap. And if you look at his body in that picture, his legs are hanging off the bed, off the couch. His head is tilted to the side, and he's holding his left hand is in a fist position. Who takes a nap with their legs off the couch with a fist with their head turned aside? Nobody. I believe that whoever killed Lizzie was the killer, I believe, came over and either kicked the side of the couch so they wouldn't be heard or said, hey, Dad, or something. And he looked up and saw this. He saw Lizzie with the hatchet over her head, okay? And he tried to make a move to stop it. He flung his legs off the couch. He had a fist in his hand. His head was sideways, and he took it to the side of the head. And the reason why he didn't get 19 waxes because the axe handle broke because they found the murder weapon in the basement. That for some reason they didn't collect the first day. It blows my mind, okay? So that's my theory. And, you know, they were rich too, so obviously she gets the money after that, whatever. I don't even think she cared if she got caught. She said, like, she had 8 different alibis. She said she was out in the barn during the murder. When Andrew
was cleaning the dress in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, well, she got caught burning her dress in the kitchen, like a couple days after the murder. It said it had paint on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it had red paint on it, through blood. But another weird thing is when Andrew Borden came home that day from his walk to take the nap, the front door was jammed. It was always open, and he couldn't get in. And the maid came and found something jammed in it, and she heard Lizzie like cackling from the second floor, like laughing. Like, I don't know why she jammed the door, maybe to mess with him before she killed him. But she was there to kill one person, wait an hour and a half in a house to kill another person. It's an inside job. Nobody from the outside can come in and do that. Where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You don't.
In a small house like that,
You
it's
don't.
not too big.
And if you're a stranger doing it from, Lizzie hires someone for money, you're taking 1, 2 whacks, you're killing the first people and getting the hell out. Well, why do you kill the stepmother unless she's in the way? I mean, why do you even bother? Okay, so it's an inside job. She did it. That's my theory. Marissa.
Okay, so I sort of agree with you, but one, how do they know that the mother died first?
Forensics. And no, and her body was found upstairs. Okay, so Lizzie feigns finding the father, yells upstairs to Bridget Sullivan and says, oh my God, somebody killed my father. She runs down, and then the neighbor comes over hearing the screams, and Lizzie says, well, my stepmother supposedly went to help a sick friend, but look upstairs to see if she's here. And then the friend goes up there and finds the mother dead. Now, Bridget Sullivan said Lizzie was not out in the barn. She was on the second floor during when Andrew Borden came home. She heard him cackling. If she was on the second floor, Abby Borden was laying in the first room.
Why would she be in a barn if her pigeons were already dead?
That too. But Abby Borden was dead, like right out in the open. The neighbor said the door to that room was open right at the top of the steps. And if Lizzie was upstairs, she would have seen the body. You could not see it. So if she's upstairs, then obviously she sees the body. Why does she come downstairs, find the father, and then then the neighbor comes over, and then she has her go upstairs. So go see if my stepmother's okay, like she would care. And the neighbor finds the stepmother bashed up on the floor. So that's how that broke down.
Yeah, so Lizzie definitely did it. She definitely did it.
You think?
However, I do not believe that the father woke up because she's a girl. There's no freaking way that a man wouldn't be able to, like, you know, throw her off somehow, you know, but to allow her to get in that many whacks.
He didn't have a chance though.
Yeah.
I believe he was asleep and he got woken up. I think he was knocked out on the couch
And
he woke up to this. I think he woke up to this. And she kicked the couch and he looked up and she went, bam. And the only reason why she didn't kill him in his sleep is because she wanted him to know that, hey, your daughter was taking you out.
Yeah, yeah.
She wanted it known, and that's why the
Wait,
stepmother was facing her.
Was it like a fact that there was something going on with the father and the daughters?
Well, there was another theory that she killed them because he was molesting the daughters.
Okay, so if that was the case, yeah. I'd be like, yeah, it's me. Yeah, and then, okay.
Yeah.
And then I have to agree with you.
Whoever killed both people wanted it known that who was killing them.
Absolutely.
His legs, nobody sleeps with their legs off.
But they also wanted to make sure that those 2 humans were dead because.
No, that's overkill. It's overkill. Anybody knows 1 or 2 hits, you're done. They're done. It's a hatchet. It's a hatchet. It's rage. It's massive overkill. My other passion, one of my passions is true crime. That's massive overkill. That's a crime of passion all day. All day. 2, 3, 5 whacks, 19 whacks. The reason why he didn't get more whacks is because the hatchet handle broke.
Brandon, what do you think?
Break it down.
Pretty simple. growing up in Fall River, watching all the shows, movies, everything. Of course, I think Lizzie did it. It's no doubt, like you said, it's common sense. It's overkill. Two things, like I said, I just learned about the molestation. If that was happening, that's what's going to make the overkill. Years of abuse, verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Who knows
The
what was
mother
going
knowing
on?
about
Yeah,
it and not doing anything
usually when
about
you have
it.
money and power, there's that kind of feel of control, and
He
who
was
knows
real
how
cheap
this guy
too.
was. Yeah,
He was
yeah. So he's
frugal,
probably a
it
stubborn
said.
old man.
He
And,
was a jerk. I heard, like, you know.
and then so I think molestation and then the money. It's money drove it, but like you said, I agree with you.
There's
Lizzie
a lot of
probably
factors
didn't
there,
care, but they were going to be well taken care of. Them two are out the picture. I didn't know about the vacation. You go out to the vacation to New Bedford, which is a vacation, but you plan what you're going to do after. And Lizzie's faces, the pictures, she looks pretty
Angry.
like
She
she
looks
could do
tapped.
it.
She looks
Yeah,
tapped.
he
The
does look
sister-
tapped. Yeah.
Probably, yeah, I'll have your back. We
Well,
both were in
and
this
Emma
spot.
wasn't there. Lizzie sent her like to like New York on a
Mhm.
vacation after they came back from vacation because
Mhm.
she adored her sister and didn't want her there. You know, she didn't want the shadow being cast on the sister, so the sister wasn't even there. You know, there's just a lot of weird things. She gave like 10 different stories. Said she was out in the barn. Then she said that she didn't think. No, she said she had told her father that a messenger had come to the door. When the father came home, he asked where the mother was. That's what it was. Asked where Abby was. And Lizzie said, "Oh, a messenger came to the door and said your friend is sick," and she ran out to tend to a sick friend. That was so the father wouldn't go upstairs looking for the mother and finding her. Okay. Now the police, even with half a brain, goes, "Well, who's the messenger and who's the friend?" Okay, no messenger, no friend. Well, that's a lie. Okay. And then she said something else about the mother's whereabouts. I don't know. But if she thought she was at a sick friend's house, why'd she have the neighbor go look for her? Like everything she said was ridiculous. What it came down to was this. The police bungled the case. They didn't have a murder weapon, which was bad back then because they didn't take it out of the basement. Okay. They didn't have bloody clothes. They didn't have anything like that. And back then, really, had they all been poisoned, had she been successful in the shadow cast on her, she's convicted. Sorry, my cat's got the house. The couch. She's convicted because women killed people with poison in the 18th century. That's how they did it. But nobody wanted to believe that the Sunday school teacher chopped up her father with a hatchet and the stepmother. Just nobody wanted to believe that. So she got away with it. And it was just crazy. The whole thing was crazy.
We will find out the answer.
But
So
hopefully,
continue.
I do believe Andrew's there. I don't believe Lizzie's at the house. She's not haunting that house. She didn't die there.
No.
You haunt where you die. There's no magical monorail that's going to take you to your favorite place when you die. I always laugh when I'm watching a ghost show, and they said, "Oh, Jesse James stayed at this hotel. He really loved it here. We think his ghost is here." It's in Michigan, but he died in Florida. He didn't take the magical spirit monorail back to his favorite hotel.
Yeah,
How would
right.
that-
I love Disney World, but I'm not gonna show up there.
I
when
don't
I'm
understand
dead.
how that.
Very
So she died at this place called Maplecroft, where she took all the money and moved to later on. That's down the road. She actually stayed in Florida, which blows my mind.
Yeah, which is another crazy thing.
That's like O.J. Simpson, like not understanding why people think he's a murderer when he got acquitted. It's a narcissist. He's probably a narcissist. He's probably insane. Anyway, so we're excited. Brandon, you're excited to go
I
to
can't
the
wait.
Lord. Now Brandon's about to
It's been
explode.
years.
Marissa,
Oh
excited?
my God, yeah. So that's
Alright.
tomorrow.
We're gonna tear it up. Wickedly Haunted, thank you for joining us again. And we'll see you next Friday. And we'll have clips from the Lizzie Borden house, and hopefully we'll have answers as to who committed the murder of the century. So from our